Hello, fellow members of the Midnight Society. Welcome back to another episode review from the show Are You Afraid of the Dark? Last time, we covered The Tale of the Whispering Walls, a Betty Ann story about two kids stuck in a haunted house after getting lost on the way home from an amusement park with their babysitter. Tonight's narrative, from Frank, is about a young pet detective who thinks a werewolf might have moved in across the street. Submitted for the approval of the Midnight Society, I call this Season 2, Episode 9, The Tale of the Full Moon. We open on Gary standing behind Frank like he's going to practice ventriloquism and work Frank like a dummy. He tells the others that it's a special night because 1 year ago today, Frank told the tale that got him into the Midnight Society, the tale of the Phantom Cab. I'm not really sure that's something to celebrate. I thought the only thing good that came from the tale of the Phantom Cab was the introduction of Dr. Fink. Man, I love that old nutbag.
And I am not a nutbag.
Frank says he has the perfect story for a night like tonight, cueing some of the other members to look up to see a full moon. Oh, come on. We just had a full moon in the last episode, which was fixated on for no reason since the full moon didn't even feature in the story. The story better have a full moon in it, Frank. And that's not a euphemism.
Bummer.
Frank says that on a full moon, eerie things happen and people act a little strange. He also says,
"There's one special thing that always happens when the full moon rises."
All this talk of full moons when there's a full moon out, and you went with the tale of the full moon, huh? Real clever, Frank.
Hey, watch it, man!
Frank's tale opens on the shoddy backyard office of Harrison Downs Pet Detectives. Pet Detectives? Huh. You know, this episode came out a year before Ace Ventura Pet Detective? Coincidence? Me thinks not. DJ McHale needs to sue somebody.
Fiction can be fun!
The two boys who run the operation, Jed and Huey, have just been hired by a lady in their neighborhood, Mrs. Neville, to find her lost cat Misty. The boys are going over a checklist of items to help in luring a cat when Huey finds a discrepancy in the books. It seems that Jed has charged Mrs. Neville $20 to find her cat, when their usual rate for such a task is only $5. Jed reveals that it wasn't a mistake. There's a puppy that he wants to buy, and it costs, you guessed it, $20.
I had no idea to be so much I won't pay it.
Time out. Okay, first off, that is just bad business practice. People talk, Jed, and sooner or later Mrs. Neville is going to find out she was overcharged, and you are getting reported to the Better Business Bureau, my friend. At the very least, you're getting a 1-star Yelp review. Oh, Yelp review. You get it? You get it because the sound that a dog says. Never mind. Okay, let's talk about the other problem with this little plan, Jed. If you charge $20 for the job, you personally do not walk away with $20. I assume you and your business partner split fees 50-50, which is $10 apiece, but then there are expenses to consider, i.e. catnip, bandages and antiseptic for when that monster claws the crap out of you when you're trying to wrangle it, etc., etc. Alright? So realistically, you're going to walk away with maybe $5 to $7. Why don't you try saving money instead of gouging your clients, Jed?
Thanks for the news flash.
It's revealed that Jed's mom says he can't have a dog, but he says that she'll have to let him have one after she sees the picture of a puppy he has in his possession. Huey questions whether the plan will work, and then we get treated to this awkward little exchange.
She has to. I'm tired of playing fetch the stick with you.
Me too. Splinters hurt my tongue.
What? Hey man, you want to play fetch? You mean catch? No. Fetch. I'll throw a stick, you run after it, catch it, and then bring it back to me. With your mouth. What the f*** is wrong with you? Walk away from me right now before I make you play dead. Jed then begins looking for a dog whistle, which he finds like this.
What's wrong?
Found the whistle.
Bro, that thing just poked you in the taint. Don't put that in your mouth. Anyway, after blowing the whistle, he hears the dogs in the area reacting to it with some twisted look of pleasure on his face. We're barely in, and I already hate this story.
I'm gonna make you eat this!
The search for Misty begins, and...
Here, kitty, kitty, kitty. Here, Misty.
What the hell am I looking at? Is Jed flying? Is he on some weird bridge? Why is this shot framed this way? Also, since when, in the history of trying to summon a cat, has "Here, kitty, kitty" ever worked? Everyone knows you tap a fork on some crystal so the cat knows it's time for some fancy feast. Or,
I want chicken, I want liver, meow mix, please deliver.
the boys continue using the dumbest cat-finding tactics until this happens. You know what? I take back all my misgivings about Huey playing fetch with Jed. Clearly, he is a dog that has been turned into a boy. It's the only reason I can think of to justify him thinking that was a cat hovering 6 feet off the ground. And couple that with his ability to leap clean over that fence, he's either a ninja or a dog. Ninja dog? No. Jed is off searching for Misty on his own, and I swear he calls her Missy at one point. But he finds her collar and thinks that the cat is in the house across from his. He tells Huey over a walkie-talkie, but Huey says that he has to go home for dinner. Dinner? It looks like it's in the middle of the day. Wait. What am I thinking? It's fine. He's on canine hours.
Hey man, if this is torture, chain me to the wall.
Jed decides to investigate on his own. He goes to the front door, which has one of the most kick-ass door knockers I've ever seen, and knocks at it. The door itself also looks like part of a medieval torture device. Like, why are there spikes on it? Anyway, after not getting an answer, he heads into the backyard, missing what appears to be bloody rags in the trash can out front. As he makes his way back, he finds a trail of pet collars that culminates in a pile of them on the back porch. That would have been enough to freak me out and leave, but he's not deterred. Jed goes to take a look inside, but has to duck out of sight when he sees a man come downstairs. The man pulls some ground meat from the fridge and begins seasoning it before he has to go away to answer the phone. Jed seizes the opportunity to sneak inside and peek in the fridge, which only has large containers of ground meat inside. His walkie-talkie goes off, alerting the man on the phone. Jed then makes a run for it, and we get one of the most contrived moments of tension I've ever seen. Just stop pulling in that direction and your shirt will come free.
Logical.
Jed manages to get away, and we cut to night at his house where he has seemingly told his mother about the whole ordeal. And holy mother of Mary, what decade is this woman living in? Seriously, her hairstyle, her outfit, makeup, and home decor doesn't match anything else we've seen in this episode.
I have had about enough of this.
Okay. Look, I just need a minute, right, to sort this all out in my head, okay? Jed is obviously a Time Lord, right? And his best friend is from a future when dogs have evolved into human form. And his mother is not actually his mother, right? She's a companion that he picked up in the 50s who lives in his TARDIS. And it has decorated itself to make this woman more comfortable while the good doctor hunts down pet thieves. Yeah. That must be it, because otherwise I have no f***ing idea what is happening here. Jed's mother doesn't believe his story and thinks it's another one of his ploys to get a dog. I was unclear on how she came to that conclusion, but then she explains her logic and makes a lot of sense. Not wanting to leave the room in defeat, Jed responds with,
Dad would have believed me.
"That's some cold shit, Jed. I'm not sure where your father is, but clearly it's a sore subject for your companion. I mean, your mom, your mother." Not the reaction I was expecting. Guessing he cheated or left or cheated then left. Look, he's an Are You Afraid of the Dark parent, so anything's possible. Anyway, it's revealed to be a full moon, and Jed is in his room using a camcorder to spy on the man across the street, and, as luck would have it, he sees him turn into a werewolf. Jed calls to his mother, who immediately arrives. Oh dear God!
What's the matter?
Jed tells his mom what he saw, but she doesn't believe him. He tries to show her on the tape, but nothing appears on the screen. But we saw Jed watching this on the screen when he ducked out of sight, so why is there nothing there now? If this were your classic vampire situation, which it's not, mind you, and I don't remember anything about werewolves not appearing on camera or casting no reflection, but if that were the situation, nothing would have appeared on the screen from the start. Jed's mom tells him he has dogs on the brain and puts him to bed. We cut to a shot of Jed and Huey reading that classic work of literature, Shapeshifters in History, written by... I don't know, it's a Frank story, so probably some nutbag.
I am not a nutbag.
The boys learn that werewolves are allergic to red roses and pure silver. Jed asks Huey what you're supposed to do if you have a werewolf living next door, and Huey says, move. Sound advice. What do you think Jed's mom will think of the idea? Frank, is there something going on at home that we need to talk about? Because I'm genuinely worried about you. Jed's mom is having company over for dinner and tells Jed to answer the door, resulting in... I won't lie. Before the door fully opened, the first thought I had was, why is there a sex toy on their door? Then, once I saw what it was, I was curious as to why it was positioned that way. Like, shouldn't it be facing the approaching guests, kind of like the knocker we saw earlier? Anyway, the door opens to reveal... We cut to dinner time, where Jed's mom is going on about how glad she was to be able to cook. The amazing Technicolor dream food looks just as ridiculous as she does. During the meal, Jed stabs their guest with a silver fork to try to prove he's a werewolf, but of course nothing happens. Jed is sent to his room, but later his mom arrives to say,
Your dinner is in the Kelvinator.
how the f*** is Frank? Nope. You know what? No, this outburst needs to be framed as an old-timey history lesson. How the f*** is Frank making a reference to a refrigerator brand that was most known in the 50s and 60s? Even if he was a fan of 50s horror movies, I find it doubtful that he would have ever heard the term Kelvinator. Anyway, Jed calls Huey, who I guess doesn't have parents, and answers the phone in the bath. Jed tells him he was wrong, but that he knows something is going on in that house. He intends to go in and wants Huey to go with him, resulting in...
Oh, Jed, I'm taking a bath.
Towel off.
Jed, are you insane? Do you know how hard it is to get a human-dog hybrid to take a bath? You don't interrupt that. You know what? Your mom's right. You're not ready for a dog.
I know exactly what you're up to, young man.
Huey has reservations about sneaking into someone's house at night. I mean, what's a little light breaking and entering between friends, Huey? Jed sort of doesn't give him a choice by saying,
Do it!
The boys find the back door locked, so Jed pulls a large crowbar out of his bag of holding. Seriously, that would not have fit in there. Anyway, Mary Poppins pries the door open and the two head in. Jed goes to take pictures of the meat in the Kelvinator, but finds it empty. They hear a noise, but get treated to a jump scare when they investigate. Huey discovers a picture of the owner of the house and his twin brother. Just as they make this realization, this happens. The boys make a run for it, but wind up trapped in the werewolf's bedroom upstairs. The creature breaks into the room and is about to attack when Jed remembers the taint whistle and says his epic catchphrase.
Bad dog.
Well, just wrong clip, but I mean, that's what he says. And then he blows him up with a cannon. Yeah. Only part of that's true. The owner of the house shows up and says,
I see you've met Gordon.
Gordon, the friendly werewolf? I mean, it does sound like a 50s show. Anyway, the man explains that he takes care of his brother who suffers from the disease. Jed threatens to tell his mom, but she appears, stating that she already knows about it. She says that she's trying to understand and hopes that Jed will too. Jed asks if Gordon really eats kids, and the neighbor replies,
Rumors. People can be so cruel.
We cut to a scene of the man, Jed's mom, and Jed having a family barbecue while Frank gives some voiceover exposition explaining that the man and Jed's mom got married and Jed finally got his dog. What they don't tell you is that they had to take Huey to the pound and put him down. The story ends and everyone looks like they're trying not to laugh. God knows I was. Gary ends the episode by saying that it's time for their anniversary surprise.
Roast. Frank. Say what?
Roast Franks, don't you like them?
Now for the review. What can I say? I hated this episode. While I appreciated the nods to some similar horror films where a boy discovers a monster living nearby and no one believes him, things like Fright Night, and there were some elements of Lost Boys in there, there was just too many wacky elements crammed into the episode to form a cohesive narrative. Aside from a phenomenal-looking werewolf, there was really nothing about this episode I enjoyed.
Yeah, I know.
The suburban neighborhood setting was fine for the story, and again, channeled similar films that I previously mentioned, but Then we got Jed's house. It was like someone watched Edward Scissorhands before writing the script, but only decided to apply those elements to that house and the character of Jed's mom. It completely took me out of the story. Like, why not just give everything that 50s vibe, or set it in the 50s?
That is the most ridiculous story I have ever heard.
Look, I don't set out to dislike episodes, and I know that there could have been a good story here if they would have leaned into the mystery and the boys investigating. Like I said, the werewolf makeup is great, especially considering the budget of the show, and it looks better than some of the CG-laden werewolf shows we'd get in the years following. Why not capitalize on it? Maybe feature the creature prowling the neighborhood and the boys follow the trail. Have the man show up to wrangle the beast, but don't show us or the boys so that it further makes us and them think that he's the wolf.
Watch your mommy's gonna change.
While I generally appreciate the darker endings, I really didn't have a problem with the John Waters-esque twist on the happy ending here. Jed gets a pet werewolf? It was just odd enough to be satisfying, even if I didn't think the rest of the episode was. Younger me wouldn't have found this episode scary, but it might have given him ideas to try playing fetch with his friends.
You're kidding, right?
The acting in this episode was okay. Jed does a lot of acting with his face, not all of which I appreciated, but it shows a level of acting skill that we don't always see on Are You Afraid of the Dark? Huey was a great, adorable sidekick, and frankly, I wish we would have had more of him and Jed teaming up in the story.
Why do you keep saying we? Because we're partners, Huey. To the end.
The adult acting is a bit of a toss-up. While I hated most everything about Jed's mom, none of that is on the actress. She took that wacky 50s aesthetic and crushed it. Her mannerisms, the way she talked, all of it was spot on. I can't share the same enthusiasm for the man. I mean, he wasn't bad or anything, but his acting just felt rather wooden most of the time. As for the werewolf itself, the actor and the makeup did a great job with their movements and the panting. I'd even give him credit for the dog tongue antics, but I'm just not sure if that was the actor or an animatronic. Frank, I didn't like your first story, and I didn't like your anniversary story, but at least you're consistent. The Tale of the Full Moon does not meet the approval of the Midnight Society. While the Midnight Society members poll on this episode was a bit split, the majority thought that it did meet the approval of the Midnight Society, so I'm being overridden, and I guess you get to consider this a win, Frank.
Nito?
I want to thank the following Midnight Society members for participating in this episode's poll, though there were so many votes this time around that in order for me to get through all of them, I'm going to need to at least attempt it in the style of my favorite toy commercial from when I was a kid. Are you ready? I'm not, he said on take 87. Here we go. Paula, Andrea, Justin, Jada, Cassie, Herjot, Rich, Joel, Matt, Cortland, Twyla, Lineal, Zach, John, Lisa, Michelle, Alexander, Brandis, Richard, Ryan, Nora, Carl, Curtis, Elizabeth, Matt, John, Emma, Andrea, Dana, Victoria, Andrew, Alyssa, Martina, Cynthia, Christopher, Joe, Dan, Michael, Carrie, Akila, Dan, Jonathan, Terry, Jesse, Benjamin, Andrea, Tara, Ka, Peter, Anissa, a series of letters that don't actually form a word, you know who you are, Emily, and remember, if it doesn't say bike machines, it's not the real thing. Thanks, everyone.
I think that guy might really be dead.
What did you all think of Frank's story? Did you see it as a kid? What were some things that you either liked or disliked about the story? What were some of your favorite tales from the series? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to check out the next episode about the tale of the shiny red bicycle. Until next time, are you afraid of the dark?
What's wrong?
Found the whistle.
Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like and a share. Be sure to subscribe and click that bell icon to be notified when more Midnight Society episodes go up. And we've got a ton of other cool shows on the channel, so stick around. You might find something else that you like.